Hi, everyone. I'm Nicole from Catster. Just wanted to introduce myself here. I work behind the scenes most of the time, but soon you'll be seeing more of me in front of the camera. We are starting our new podcast where Dr. Karyn and I will talk about all things cat. We're going to have guests on where we can talk about different things that other people are doing in the cat world, heroes of the cat world, at rescues, veterinarians, other veterinarians, researchers, and people who just love their cats and other people's cats as well. And then a couple weeks ago, we just got into a conversation on one of our regular weekly meetings, and it got really in depth, and we were just really excited to kind of dive into things from different perspectives, like her as a vet and a pet parent, me as a pet parent and a pet content creator. And just we started thinking, hey, actually, this is what we've been wanting to do, just talk about all things cat. So that's how this was born. We're really, really excited to have you watching. Thank you so much for being here, and we hope you enjoy. Okay. Hello. Hey, Karyn.
Hey, doing all right. I'm doing okay.
Awesome. We're recording. So, really exciting. I think you're feeling the same as I am. Welcome everyone who's
Yes.
listening. So I'm Nicole, and I'm also a bereaved cat mom. We said goodbye to our 18-year-old Burmese just over a year ago now.
Oh, it's such a sad story.
I know. I've written a few articles that took a long time to get out of me, but they're on our sister site, heifer.com, just about dealing with all of that, which was, you'd think that when they get older that it becomes a bit easier, but I mean, it does. I lost a cat that was 4 years old when I was younger. That was very, very hard, but our baby cat was part of everything with us. We have a toddler, and like, yeah, he was there when she came home he was our first baby. That's how he got his name. But yeah, so I do feel very grateful that I get to meet and talk to so many other people with cats and be looking at cats all the time, and not ready for another one in my life yet, even though I want all of the cats. But it's waiting. But that's a perfect intro into Dr. Karyn's life, how many cats she has.
Too many, and not enough at the same time. Um, so, yeah, I've got five cats, who you might see pop up behind me at some point, although they've just eaten, so they'll probably be just doing some pretty heavy sleeping now. I've also got five dogs, so there's never really a lot of rest in my house. I was just thinking about this actually last night, in that I'm an Australian living in the UK, you're a Canadian living in New Zealand. We're very sort of far far away from our origins. But I'm a vet, and I worked in clinical practice for a bit over 13 years. And yeah, it's something I love doing. It's something I always wanted to do, ever since I was about 4 or 5 years old. I mean, it's the only thing I wanted to do as a child. I remember, God, our cat was run over. This is obviously back in Australia when I was 4 or 5, and I obviously one of my core memories, and I remembered wanting to fix the cat. I mean, the cat was well dead. Um, no, no vet was going to be able to save poor Bindi. But that was kind of, my first memory of, I want to be able to save animals, and always grew up wanting to do that. But weirdly enough, by the time I got to the end of high school, I'd started to almost second guess that, because I was very sensitive. I was very sort of, even the thought of putting an animal to sleep, I didn't know if I would be able to do that. And so I was like, oh, a bit of a, I didn't know what to do. The other thing I always really loved writing, I loved creating things. In the end, I actually went off and did a science degree, which equipped me to do pretty much nothing. Gave me a lot of background information about animals and zoology and whatnot. But basically, long story short, ended up going back to university, realizing that no, I want to be a vet. This is what I want to do. I'd grown up a bit since then and was sort of a bit, better at coping with the emotional roller coaster that is involved in that kind of work. And I loved it. I loved doing surgery. I loved helping animals. And the thing that surprised me, I think, most of all, was that I actually loved helping the people. Like I get really involved in their lives and what was going on with them at home and their families and their pets. And eventually, the thing that I loved most about my job also became the thing that was hardest about my job. It wasn't the euthanasia side of things, which most people were surprised at. Because at the end of the day, 99% of the time when you're putting an animal to
Mm.
sleep, you're doing it a kindness. It's I think
No
there's
other
an article
option
that
in
I
those
wrote a
moments.
little, yeah, and it is kind of a gift that we can do
Yeah.
that. But it was helping people through that. It was helping people through financial difficulty with making decisions for their pets, and that just started to really kind of wear down on me. And a couple of nervous breakdowns later, I funny thing,
Not funny.
I was it's funny now. I was taking some doctor recommended time off work, and I was literally sitting there on my couch googling the terms veterinary writing, because I knew that it's like I want to be a vet. I'm a vet, this is what I do, but I also love writing. And I sort of stumbled upon a company that was basically that hosts these websites that are giving a lot of amazing information to pet owners, and that's kind of where I landed. So I feel like I'm still able to help people with their pets and reach out to them on kind of like a bit of a personal level, without taking so much of that on myself. So it's been such a wonderful thing, because I know that I've got a lot of experience both in my own life with my own pets, and obviously in working as a vet for so many years. I didn't want to just go, right, that's it, I'm not going to be a vet anymore. But this was a way that I could still, share that and help people out and help animals out. And it's been such a fun ride. It's been like this journey the past 3 years of doing things that I never would have thought of myself
Mm.
doing. When you graduate from vet school, you don't think of yourself making Instagram posts or buying
Totally.
Halloween props to.
Yeah. Halloween props for. Well, it's so true
But
that
it's
because like what you're saying too, like as a small kid, like being there's two things, being a vet or a marine biologist, because I wanted to work with dolphins. Some of the like more icky things were just I was just like, I don't know how I could do this. Like I very similar to you, and I ended up not going that route at all. I did education and always still wanted to help and work with animals, and found little patches of my life where it was happening, and it was just like, but I was never like really dedicated to it. And similar to what you're saying is like, you go to vet school and you think I'll be a vet, and then that's sad. And it's like me, teacher, I'm gonna be a teacher, and that's gonna be the path. And then how it's evolved and how cool it is that I didn't
happens.
have to go to vet school to work alongside vets right now. And like I get to
Yeah,
learn
yeah.
so much from all of you guys. And it's so cool that like, yeah, and to be able to like take what you got, your guys' knowledge, and help project it out into the world for people to
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, have access to
And I
this.
mean, and
Yeah.
every day really is like, every day is a school day. I think I've said to you in the past, like, I've learnt so much in the past, a couple of years, writing articles and even just editing articles, particularly about like small
Mm.
pets, like your little pocket pets,
Yeah.
that I never knew whilst practicing.
Yeah.
Just details and minutiae of certain behaviors and husbandry and things like that. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
there's so
you
much
can
to
never
it.
stop learning.
No, no. And like, that's what's, yeah, really cool about, and yeah, the whole industry about it as well, is like, we write so many helpful articles about different things, like why do cats get zoomies? Well, this is the best of our knowledge right now, but the more that we learn and observe and study, and like, it's no secret that over the last, like, even decade, like, pets have become like much
Family.
more part of the family. And he's like, I don't know. There was something I was reading the other day. Sorry, it's about dogs, but not cats, but about just how like dogs smile more now. And like, I don't know if it's that we're recording it more, or if it's like they're evolving and
Yeah,
we're evolving
yeah.
with them. And like, because like in the past, like, I mean, when my dad and like my dad's generation, like dogs weren't really allowed inside unless you were a king or a queen and you had a tiny corgi or a pug, like you wouldn't let a German Shepherd in your house. That's an
Yeah,
outdoor dog.
yeah,
Now it's like, why are you leaving your dog outside? In
yeah,
Canada. I
yeah. And
mean, in
that's
New Zealand, lots of dogs live outside. It's
something.
warm. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Australia and New Zealand, I think, are a bit similar in
Yeah.
that, and that's partly, I think, it's partly climate, but I think it's also. I feel like still when I go to Australia, they've still got a little bit of that dogs are an outside pet kind
Mhm.
of mentality, not across the board,
No.
but I feel
Mhm.
compared to the UK, UK you bring your dog everywhere, whereas Australia it's not
Yeah.
really a thing.
No.
A lot
Yeah.
of beaches aren't dog friendly, and but yeah,
Well,
just in our lifestyle. Oh,
I
ooh,
was gonna say, in Australia and New Zealand, we do have like certain birds that are endangered a lot more, like, and that we do protect, because I find that, and that's what's
very
interesting
true.
with like being a cat lover in New Zealand as
Mm-hmm,
well, is like you have to, like, to love the cats, like you also have to like really try and stop the feral cat population as well, which
mm-hmm.
sucks because
Yeah,
we love
yeah.
cats, but the more that they take over, and this is like, I think Maui, we just wrote an article about in Maui, there's like
Mm-hmm.
all of the Hawaiian Islands, there's estimated 500,000 feral cats.
Yeah,
That's
and the
insane.
number of small like bird, reptile, and mammal species that they have sent extinct in in places like Hawaii and Australia, in island
The island nation.
populations where cats, there was no cats there or an equivalent predator.
Yeah, that's what
So
I'm doing. Like, we've got flightless birds here. Like, they literally, like, they don't even go anywhere. They just walk around. Like,
yeah,
so cats. The only good thing is that there's a lot of rats that were brought here by the English. And so the cats are busy.
so
They've got
if there's
lots.
only if we could just get them to selectively
Just
hunt,
rats, please. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Rats and mice, that's
yeah,
it.
and I mean that's been a big thing in my lifespan of yeah when like we our house we've always had cats. My parents had cats, so I think I've only spent maybe 18 months of my entire life not having a cat in my house, and we cats were outdoor pets, and when my cat was put to sleep when I was 14, I want to say, could be a little bit older than that. um, they were outdoor cats. And then the next lot of cats we had, they suddenly were indoor cats. And because not just
Yeah.
the way we felt about cats had changed, things like flea control also had a big impact on that. When you've
The
got good
what?
flea
Oh, flea
control, you
control.
don't
Yeah.
mind having your cat.
Yeah.
You don't mind having your cat inside if you're not going to get fleas from them.
Yeah.
But people had become a lot more aware of the damage that cats were doing in the environment, not just feral cats, but domestic pets as
Mhm.
well. And so it's gone from being you don't keep cats indoors to yeah, cats come inside a lot, whereas a lot of states now it is a legal requirement to keep your cats inside, whether it's all the time or at least at night they have to come in.
Ah, well, yeah.
And so, we had catios and we had harnesses and
Oh,
leads,
yeah.
and that's been a very normal thing for me into my early adulthood.
Yeah. Well, and then like,
But
because
then I come to the UK,
yeah, and they're like,
it's the opposite.
so yeah, and we get comments on some of our like stories and stuff when we post about like indoor cat enrichment. And to be honest, like I probably was one of the people that maybe, yeah, a decade ago that before I moved to New Zealand would have been like, cats are meant to be outside. How dare you lock them up? And now seeing what they do. And not only that, like my cat that was 4 when she died, it was probably like we don't know. We never found her, but she probably got eaten by a coyote, which is horrible. Like that is just the most horrible way for my beautiful, like I still pray that because she was just the friendliest, sweetest, super chonky cat. And she went out before a snow. It snowed and she didn't make it home. And I just so hopeful that she got lost somewhere, walked into someone's house, and that person was like, "You're too cute to give back." And she wasn't wearing a collar. She was microchipped, but I that's just like where
What do
my
you ever say? You'd wish she'd frozen to death instead of being
I know, yeah, but like no, like she was too fat. She was not gonna freeze to death. It wasn't that cold either. There's no way that girl.
fat to
She
freeze to
was
death.
chunky. She could have lived outside on no food for multiple days and been very cozy
Bit
warm.
like, bit like Cyril then.
Yes, yeah, yeah, she would have been fine with that. So yeah, that's where I put my head. But like
He's off. He's off.
realistically, yeah, he's not coming yet. He'll join. But yeah, and so yeah, like it's not just about like, oh, the freedom. And it's funny how we do that though with cats versus dogs, where we're like, oh, cats deserve to be free. Dogs lock them up. And we always
Yeah,
think, well, dogs can do more damage. And probably to a human, yes, a dog that's wandering around can do more damage to a human, but cats can. And I think loving cats is personally, I think loving cats is recognizing them in their entirety, and that like
yeah.
yeah, and that you can still provide a very warm and enriching and like I mean I one of my friends has a ragdoll cat that if you open the door, that cat's running the other way. They do not want to go outside. It
Most
is
of mine are the same.
they could put him on a harness, take him out, like absolutely not. Like do not want to go outside. Like that is
Yeah.
scary. Doesn't even want to go on they have a patio. They don't even need a catio thing because the cat will go out and be like, nah, wind, nah, no, no.
Yeah, it's all outside.
Yeah,
It's
it's
yucky.
outside. There could be dust. There could be dirt. I look beautiful. Leave me alone. Yeah. And it's fascinating though, because
Yeah.
they didn't train that into them and stuff. And so, but then they did have
Ah, but it was kind of bred into them.
it was bred into them, but they had a ragdoll before that one who
Eh?
really sadly passed away at 1 because they could not keep him inside. There was
Yeah.
like, and that's where genetics play. They're like they tried the training, they tried the catty, they
Yeah.
tried everything. He was like, no, I'm born to be free, and he
Yeah.
yeah
Yeah. And that's where you sort of, yeah, it's challenging in that you have people sort of talking about, oh, well, cats by nature, they should be free. And that's, living inside isn't their natural environment. I mean, but like suburbia isn't their natural environment either.
oh
In highly dense populated areas where there's, probably 50 cats per
yeah
block.
yeah
That's not their natural setup either. And it's, I think, if you've decided that I'm having a cat, you've got to make the decision of, okay, well, what is the best thing for
yeah
that? Things like neutering. You don't go, oh well, spaying or castrating my cat, that's not natural. No, you have to do that because it's a part of being a responsible pet owner.
mm,
So it's kind of this grey area or grey line. Like where do you draw
yeah
in terms of how much do you manipulate that cat and that cat's environment as part of being a responsible pet owner? And if you're not comfortable with doing those things, then perhaps,
well I think it goes down to education because like exactly like what you just said there, like the whole spaying and neutering thing, like that's where these like trap, neuter, release, manage programs they're so huge now. And it's like they're the people that do that, they're fascinating, wonderful humans. Like hopefully we can have a few people come onto our show to talk to us about
yeah,
what they do because
yeah,
it's just like It's so necessary. Like when you hear about, yeah, like 500,000 feral cats, that's not even including the pet cats that exist. Like
Yeah, yeah.
that's crazy. It's so many. And th I think in Maui, what they did was a couple years ago, they did like a cull, which is horrible.
On one of the
Yeah.
islands. I can't
And
remember off the top of my
the
head.
population
And
came back in a year and more. Like the cull did not work.
whereas
Um,
on one of the other islands, they've got a big trap neuter release program. They've got a cat like reserve, and they've got a really stable population there. Like it's not perfect,
no,
but
no.
it's so obvious that yeah, you cull, or basically what they're trying to do our island of Maui at the moment is that there's the new law coming in that you're not allowed to feed stray or feral cats.
Yeah,
So they're
yeah,
just
yeah.
trying to
That's the one.
starve them out, and you kill off some cats, but that just opens up space for cats to come and fill. Whereas if you neuter those cats, then the
Well, it's a
population
more
tends to
natural
stabilize.
way to regulate because they are part of the ecosystem.
Take Australia, you're never going to get rid of the feral cat population. That's
No,
just, it's a pipe
no.
dream. That's
Yeah,
just, if you keep trying to work toward that goal, you will fail.
yeah.
But they've found in this population where they've re-released some, oh, I want to say bettongs, tiny mammals, tiny
Yes, you wrote the
marsupials.
article on that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, yeah, yeah.
They've re-released this population, and it is in a protected area. Feral cats can get in, like they are there. They are a predator in that area, but the beton population has actually doubled, and it's because they've taken a lot of steps to make their habitat, the ecosystem, a lot more stable. They've made sure that there's lots of places for those tiny marsupials to actually hide and live and all of these sorts of things.
Yeah.
So you're kind of creating an ecosystem that can adapt to that
Yes.
predator instead of going, well, it can't work with the cats there.
That's
So let's work
100% it.
with the problem we have.
Yeah, it's that like adapting and evolving. You need the ecosystem to evolve because if you're just like shocking it, then everything's out of balance. Like the cats exist here. And so back to what I was going to say about the neutering and stuff, though, is like I feel like when people don't understand, because I actually grew up just thinking that was part of owning a pet. Like I didn't know that people didn't do that unless they were breeding them. Again, one of those things when you're a kid, you don't know. And then it was a couple of years ago that we had a friend that was like, "Oh yeah, he him and his partner were having I guess a big disagreement about whether to spay their pet or neuter, it was a boy, yeah, so neuter their pet." And I was just like,
It would totally be about castrating.
yeah, yeah, oh yeah. And I was like, is that a discussion? Like, like,
It's an option to not.
yeah, I was like, what? Like, no, you have to. He's 2 years old now, and like,
And
yeah,
it's not just. I mean, it's for the environment. It's for other cats out there. It's for the cat itself. I mean, sure, you can go, oh, you're taking away his manhood. Although I do find it's the male owners that tend to be
yeah,
way
a little bit more.
too attached to their pets'
Yeah,
testicles. That's yeah. Um, but if you've then got a cat that you're not allowing to have those natural male behaviors, is that not just as bad? So,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and that's how I often feel about dog castration as well. It's like if you're not letting them go out and sow their seed all over the neighborhood, is it not kinder to take the urge away as well?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's especially with cats, you cannot just go, oh, well, I don't want my cat castrated, so I'm fine with it fighting other cats, running through the streets,
Yeah.
spreading feline AIDS, and it's not okay.
No, no, it is not. No.
But,
Yeah, and
and,
I
it,
and I
and
just
it's
really
sort of
think that the more people know, the less likely they're gonna want to do that. And that might be
yeah,
the educator in me.
it does all come down to education, and I mean, back we were talking about, people have our views and our opinions of our pets have changed so much over the last 2 or 3 decades.
Yeah.
Is that we know more about health problems. We know more, you know, I mean, just 30 years ago, I actually remember when I was first working as, before I actually became a vet, this is, doing part-time work at a vet place, vet place.
Vet place. One of those vet places.
Pain relief for dog and cat, so like neuter and castrate and spay, was optional. Would you like your cat to go home with pain relief? It was an optional extra, and that wasn't cruel. That was just because the knowledge wasn't there. And that's in my lifetime. Whereas the idea of not sending an animal home with pain relief after surgery these days is just, I mean, sometimes the pain relief during surgery gets a little bit like over the top, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Sometimes
we're
I
like
think we
almost like
swing.
correcting all of what we've done in the past. We're like, we're so sorry to all
Yeah,
the animals. Here's all the pain relief.
yes, yeah, I don't think it needs a nerve block for this tiny splinter removal. Sometimes I feel like they've overcorrected. You're right.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, we are seeing and expecting a similar level of care and equipment and technology and everything for in veterinary medicine now as we see in humans.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly you get blood results quicker with the cat or dog these
Yeah.
days than you do for humans. And so the expectation has gone from being, oh well, we'll take it to the vet and maybe it'll get a shot of steroids and it'll get better or it won't. Like
Yeah.
that used to be veterinary medicine 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And obviously we have our expectations as owners, but also on ourselves as vets
Mm.
to for what we can do has changed hugely over the past 10 years. Um, but what hasn't changed, I think, and this is something that we talked about earlier this week, is owners are expecting more from their vets, but they're not necessarily expecting the bill that comes with that.
Mm. Yeah.
And that's been a massive problem for,
Yeah.
well, for pet owners but also for the veterinary industry.
Yes. Okay. That is a really, really good thing to bring up. Our expectations of our pets like lifespan and their health and everything has been evolving. That's a really cool topic we should dive into in our next cat chat. Because
Sounds good.
there you also wrote an article about some of the investigations that are going on in.
I did indeed. Yes.
Hey, yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So let's do that. We'll wrap up this one here. So yeah, we dived into or dove into a lot about education and learning about how to protect your cat in some ways that may be new to you. Maybe you're passionate
Yeah.
about exactly what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the change and how that's changed over, as
Mm,
I mean, we have them over everyone's lifespans.
yeah.
This it's evolved so much. So
Totally. And no judgment to anyone who might be on one side of it right now and is learning.
no,
Because like I said, growing up, cats, I was like, you should be outside. What are you doing inside? Like, yeah. And hopefully you enjoyed listening. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. We would love to hear from you.
love to
Questions.
hear from you.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. We love hearing from all of our readers and now listeners and viewers.
Yeah.
So awesome. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.